Introduction of the project by staff, by the board, presentation by the applicant. We ask that you limit this to 10 minutes. An additional 10 minutes may be requested by the applicant at the time of the presentation. Please let me know if you need that as you come up. Persons affiliated with the project, designers, owners, developers, consultants should speak at this time. We will then move into board questions, public comments if there are any. We will also limit these to 10 minutes. The applicant does not get to respond at this time. Please clearly state your name for the record. The applicants also please clearly state your name for the record. City staff recommendation, applicant response or clarifications. Board discussion, applicant may qualify or clarify inaccurate information when recognized by the chairman, but otherwise may not speak. May only speak if asked a question by the board. Board motion and a second. Any further discussions and a vote? We ask that you please turn off any mobile phones or other devices that make noise at this time. Comments from the public are to be limited to site design and architecture of the buildings only. This board does not have authority over zoning issues such as land use, building density, flooding, or traffic. We'd like to move into our first item, which is 1018 Position Drive in West Ashland. Asking for preliminary approval of a new single-story medical office to an adjoining existing medical office. We don't have any context slides, so if the applicant would like to move into the presentation. Go ahead.
Yes. No, I don't have a context slide, so feel free to come on up. Let me know when you'd like to advance the slides.
Sure. My name is Clay Wyatt. I'm with Green Incorporated. I'm an architect at Green Incorporated. And, this is a very small, respectable little building. It's about 3,000 square feet. You see the rendering up there on the screen. The building next door, we're using the same materials and same colors and all that. So pretty much match that.
I was going to get to.
Site plan is also pretty straightforward. We didn't have a whole lot of revisions to the site plan after our concept DRB. We're adding new parking, new stormwater, system will tie into existing. We did, the biggest comments that we had to address from the concept level were regarding landscaping. So we provided a brand new landscape concept plan. I think y'all will be much happier with. So that's about it for this one. Anything else, Mr. Warren?
No, would you like your landscape architect?
Anybody don't want to present?
I can. All right. I'm Ned Smith. I'm with Big Landscape Architecture. I was brought on late after the first round of comments. It's my understanding that they're trying to save the existing buffer, and DRB requested that be changed. So we just essentially have provided a standard plan, utilizing some plant material that actually mirrors some of the plant material not with our current client's property, but the adjacent property on the other side to kind of continue the same theme of their buffer. So it looks a little more continuous.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's supposed to be 10. Did-
Yeah, I mean, I had 10 minutes.
Oh,
Okay. All right, any board questions? Hearing none? Well, okay,
The small thing, but the order batten spacing above the masonry line is kind of a variation in the actual spacing of it.
Right.
Is there a particular reason for
Yes. But I mean, are you talking about the difference in the front and side?
that? Yeah.
Yes. Personally.
Does it look like we're in public comment, city staff recommendations?
Thank you, Andy. All the staff and board comments have been addressed since the last meeting. Staff comment one, a masonry wall was added to screen the ground mechanical as requested. A note on the wall, on this wall reads designed by others. That should be removed and the wall detail referenced instead. All traffic signs for this project should be a decorative post and not the U-channel post. And staff comment three, the three live oaks, let me go back to the landscape plan real quick. The three live oaks that are closest to Physicians Drive are planted approximately 16 feet apart from each other. I'm referring to these three right here. Staff recommends removing the center live oak and if required by TRC to relocate it someplace else on the site, just to give those three trees a little bit more room. But with that, we do recommend preliminary approval.
And like respond to anything? Okay. Objection? Motion?
One question.
All right, just because you're sitting next to Dina.
It's a good softball, I think, that last drawing is photometric of the side of parking. As a, looks like kind of a decorative deformed picture, is that consistent with all the other light fixtures that we're doing in the parking? I'd like there to be some consistency in all the parking lot items. Thank you for entertaining the question. Chair.
General question, not necessarily for that, but I don't know, I just listened to the pronounced about previous comments. You know,
God. I think I forgot to print those out. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had it in Dropbox, but I forgot to print them out for today. So I'm sorry.
I mean, personally, I think that the landscape plan is much improved over the last time. And there's a couple of small things, just for me, just the Lord had one in the restroom. I think it could be a stronger plant, but other than that, I think I'm fine with the landscape. And good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I did notice that the schedule doesn't quite match the plan. Like they're like shelves, I showing the plan, but schedule and up and nothing. So I just want to make sure those extra trees are actually picked up when they get a price and build it. So just make sure that there's consistency. And make the schedule not the plan.
Yeah, you know, just realized I haven't have my own copy.
Oh. That's okay.
You want to see that? Give us a minute.
Or much.
For preliminary approval, with, staff, right ones, 1 through 3, board comments to make sure the schedule is consistent with the plan, to account for everything shown in the plan. Restudy the use of Laura Cullen and the restroom. And
confirm consistency of light fixtures amongst the neighboring parking.
Okay, so we have a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 1 through 3. Board comments to make sure that the schedule matches the plan. Provide substitutes for the Lower Pedlam or study the use of the Lower Pedlam and the Ligustrum and confirm the consistency of the lighting throughout the development. Yes, seconds, call roll, Venus, Lucas. I am also yes in favor.
Thank you very much.
Item number 2, Teresa Drive has been referred by the applicant. We'll move to item number 3, 1518 Main Road. Johns Island, with preliminary approval for the renovations of St. John's High School Stadium, concessions and entry area. Again, we don't have any contact slides, so if the applicant would like to move into presentation. Please state your name.
Good evening, TJ Helms with two architects, the architect on the project. Last time we met, there were some comments, particularly about the very front entry wall to the stadium and kind of the text spelling out island or is being broken up. So not much has changed on the project, with the exception of that being addressed and our set being slimmed down for you today. That was a request that you made last time as well. There's some slight modifications, one being the windscreen and the grandstand that large graphic that was initially there presented to you last time was also kind of scaled down just a bit. So as we work through this, I can talk through the landscape plan was changed as well, which you'll see here. One of the comments about that entry wall was taking out those palmetto trees that were low and putting, spacing that out for the signage. So what we decided to do is go with still with those palmetto trees, but keep those spaced so that they don't interfere with us. We also reduced the height of some of the trees within the actual plaza area in order to allow visibility to that windscreen on the grandstand, which was a request from last time as well. Just a kind of a refresher, this is the perimeters of the site, this is the existing field, and this is the existing grandstand. Our work primarily is along the front wall, plaza area, and then the concessions building, as well as the grandstand press boxes. So
Yeah, just let me know when you'd like me to advance.
and then this is our material slide. Nothing much has changed on the material slide since we last talked, with the exception of the vinyl films that we've added for the signage at the very front. Get past this one. Again, these are the extent of our site. So for the demo, we have some internal work and external work on the concession stand building, the entry wall, and then the press box. The demo plan of the concessions building. One thing you will see that we are not demoing those stucco inlays that are there currently. We're just kind of covering those over with the translucent panel that we're proposing with the sign. The press box demo, nothing really has changed here either. Okay, then this is the overall proposed plan. Again, just the extents being the concessions and plaza entry wall, the addition of that turf field, which we discussed last time, and then that press box being added to and related. The proposed design still includes all of the signage on the interior of the plaza here, as well as the renovation of the existing concession stand, and this is just kind of an enlarged version of that. Again, the turf playing field here for observation of the younger children as the older kids play, and getting that those picnic tables in for concessions, you know, to kind of watch both of their children at the same time. This is the renovation of the press box itself. We are deciding, when the client has decided to go with a pre-manufactured press box at this point. So this press box drawing has been skimmed down just slightly, and we will work through that with the pre-manufactured company in the CA phase of funds. Okay, and then this is the entry wall that we have reworked with the large scale graphics. These are vinyl graphic film on translucent panels. The translucent panel comes with basically a system, a zip system that would allow all the panels to connect together on a aluminum frame. And that frame would be then mounted to the existing facade of the entry wall. And then these are our proposed graphics that the school is also in line with. And then these graphics would also be able to be interchanged. So if it's the graphic for football season, the graphic for soccer season, or track and field, they can interchange those graphics that we do. The press box, this is the windscreen that I spoke about. Previously, we had a large graphic on the windscreen. We kind of scaled that windscreen graphic back just for visibility purposes on the corner here and here. The press box, nothing actually has changed on the press box. The design of the pre-manufactured press box will still stay the same as the previous design. It'll just be a pre-manufactured versus a built one. And then these are some of the large plans of that plaza, and nothing has changed here from our last presentation. Still have the inlay of the St. John's athletic logo, as well as branding along this entire wall here and some landscaping.
Sorry, it's just not moving. There we go.
Okay, and these are some enlarged elevations of those graphics that we proposed previously. Nothing here on the slides.
Must be come on. Must be a big file on the next slide or something. Here we go. Sorry.
And these are just larger details of those signages in the plaza.
Feel free to just go over what's changed since the last time too.
Sure.
You know, it's not necessary to do the entire presentation again.
Absolutely. Okay, and then these are existing elevations.
Thank you. Yes.
Board questions?
Yeah, it's an outdoor fabric material. You've probably seen it on a baseball or softball field in the outfield where it's green or black usually. But that material is actually rated for exterior use and it doesn't fade for UV reasons and stuff like that. So be able to customize portions of it is a large expense for this customization of it. So they come in, I can say a variety of colors, but they're mostly primary colors. So we're trying to customize only a portion of that.
Any additional questions? Any staff recommendations?
Public meeting or public
Public.
comments. I just, did you ask if there were any?
Public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to staff recommendations.
Thank you, Andy. Most all of the board comments made at the last meeting have been addressed, except the saw palmettos were not taken out and substituted with another plant. The applicants have a different proposal concept for the entry signage, and the plants in front of the sign have been changed to plants that remain low. Staff supports the concept of the translucent pentaglass with interchanging vinyl graphics. We do recommend preliminary approval.
Applicant like to respond.
Mhm.
Board discussion. And
preliminary approval.
I think I asked is to substitute the salt on that.
And substitutes.
Okay, we have a motion for preliminary approval with one board comment for substitution of salt on meadows. We'll have a second. With the seconds. Take. The board. Vote. Jeff,
I in favor.
Aaron, I'm also in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move to the. Next item on the agenda, there's actually several. Buildings in the same project, where the first item is 3166.
Okay.
Maybank Highway, Building A. Requesting preliminary approval. For. One of 4 buildings in the first phase of the medical office and retail development. I think the last time the board saw this overall. Plan. David's,
Make it a graphic, but didn't probably make it in.
is this kind of. How does the board feel?
You're
It's
not
not
needed.
what we normally do. Sure.
So if they weren't presented, are we not allowed to?
Yeah,
I know that that's come up.
yeah, I'm not really sure we can, I mean, if you present it from the field, I don't know that we can really kind of consider it.
It's my fault because I told them I would allow it.
Okay.
They asked if I could bring my material. I apologize.
As I say, we'll
Thank
take
you.
it as information as what it is, it's in the package.
Thank you. So. Lassie. Do you want me to just start going to this slide right away and then when she tells me to advance or whoever? Okay, got it.
Few more minutes in the 10 minutes, because I'm gonna give the overall explanation and Mark's gonna go on each individual building.
I'll consider it. Yes,
You can throw out anything you want.
okay,
Give me 1 second. I don't know where my screen went. Sure. Okay. I think you're all set.
if you want to start, right?
Good evening, I'm Amy Chico. I'm not driving. I'm Amy Chico, a landscape architect with HOA. We are providing the surveying, civil engineering, and landscape architecture for the project. Tonight with me, I have Watson Knight with LFK Architecture, as well as Mark Goldberg at the time. Questions. To give you, just kind of give you a brief background, I know, I'm not sure everybody was, from the first time we submitted, we're going to review back in June, I believe. So what we're presenting tonight, because this was a rather large project, was we're just covering phase 2, track 1. And track 1 is this side of the proposed slack tie drive, and then we will be coming back in the near future with the track 2, which is, so tonight we're looking at buildings A, B, C, and D. It is part of the business park district of the South Station HUD. The overall master plan has gone from TRC to planning commission to city council for the fund. The roadway has gone through a concept plan review approval through for I guess the planning commission, TRC and planning commission to get approval to build that road. And then we've currently gone through one, I guess, major full submittal for TRC. We have gotten comments back, everything except for stormwater. And so we built this time with comments back from planning commission and all the other departments were minor, a lot of labeling that we feel confident of moving forward with the DRB. And so currently Slack Tie Drive, which is the road going to the middle of the site, and Rear Garden Way are at their final stages of getting inspections and hopefully going to be dedicated over to the city. I mean, moment that we get the city to agree with our final plat. So we're excited about that. But the site plan is kind of focused along that center drive with the buildings addressing Maybank Highway and addressing the center drive, side drive. For parking, that has been adequately distributed, making sure that each building can kind of stand on their own with the adequate parking. I believe one of the last comments that came about last time was about adding pervious pavers. So in the future phase, we are adding pervious pavers on this side. We're about 2 parking spaces over the parking requirement. And so based on the medical uses that might be leasing these buildings, there might be an additional handicap parking space needed or a moving of handicap parking, so we are not even proposing them as purpose, leaving as regular in case it has to be a switch of that. But in the site plan, we were able to create a few open park spaces, which I'm kind of going to focus on tonight. Creating around building A, a lot of great existing trees with a large tree canopy cover, so we kept that area kind of natural and low. We have a little courtyard area that we'll talk about, and then around building D, there's an area that we're referring to as Central Park. All kind of creating open space, gathering spaces for this development as well as the surrounding community. So drainage, which some of the exhibits that I put in front of me, but if you don't want to look at, they're up here. Talking about the Central Park area, and so this was in the plan. All we did was just add some color too, because I felt like kind of after we made the middle, this is not enough definition. We're probably getting to it, but I just thought bringing something a little bit larger with some color to help. But created as a pergola, created an outdoor gathering space. Some knee walls have been added to kind of pull the architecture that match the architecture using the same materials along both sides, from the street side and the parking side, to kind of pull that connection in. And then also kind of created a tree preservation area. And so a lot of these tree preservation areas, we are using as low stormwater infiltration areas. I think one of the last comments that came was for us to study above ground detention or storage. And so we had looked into a cistern or creating some other type of system. The stormwater detention was all designed as part of phase 1, and it's a large pond that's already constructed in the back. Those systems really weren't going to be any benefit. So what we did is kind of went back and kind of concentrated on creating infiltration areas. And so in doing that, and like around building A, there's a whole sod area that allows us to put a swale and take some of the stormwater off the roof, have it sheet flow rather than putting it roof downspouts into the drainage system. I'm going to go in and then go down the swale and then before going into the pipe system. So hopefully we can improve some of the stormwater infiltration. So we did that there, and again with some low areas around building A, do the same thing. The tree to preserve the trees. The areas are kept natural and low, putting mulch in the area. Putting a little bit of understory under those areas and trying to really kind of just leave it a little bit open and kind of give it some breathing room. And so as far as the landscape, the overall landscaping goes, we definitely kind of looked at the landscape and for the overall community and kind of design. And I think some of the comments were loosening it up, which we definitely did. We're using more of a native plant material palette. There probably are a few non-native plant materials, but I still feel like they're not invasive and do well in the area. And so then I think for the most part, kind of wanted to look at all of that together. And that's why I think we'll also then go in and talk about each individual building. Now, I guess one other thing I didn't touch on was the in between building B and C was the small courtyard area. So there's a small courtyard area that has access from Maybank Highway through a path system. And then underneath this courtyard is a large drainage pipe and a city drainage easement that we weren't able to remove. And so what we did is created a courtyard area over that using plantation mix. With the idea of trying to help improve, putting a pervious material to help with stormwater and kind of keep it light, and it has a brick edge to pull into architectural element and match the architecture. So that's another great community gathering area. I think one of those buildings is the possibility of being a small cafe. So it provides outdoor seating. So from that, I'm going to turn it over to Rob again. He will go to the buildings.
I'm Lost United, developing architects, 886 County Dock, Warren, Suite 200. If it works for the board, I'd like to just continue where Amy was touching on the master plan. Just quickly, I know it's been a few months since you guys have seen the project, and then we can jump right into building A. Maybe if it works for you, would you please go to PDF number 78.
Moving all slow. Here we go.
So just wanted to point out, again, our site, we got about 460 feet of frontage along Baybank. Our neighbor to the west is actually a mixed use, RV, Avalon RV, and then on the right, we've got Angel Oak Hospital. So this is sort of existing conditions with these grand trees along Baybank and our slack tie, drive, which is the new entry drive. Then on the bottom is the proposed streetscape. Sorry, it's a little small to try to fit that many linear feet on this page, but you can see we've got buildings A, B, and C, which are in the foreground. These are all single-story buildings. And in the background, you start to see D, E, and F, which are the 2 stories that sort of graduate back as you go down Slack Tie Drive. We can go to that next slide. So as Amy was mentioning, tonight we're just here for track 1, which is how we identify it. So all of the buildings total 59,000 square feet, medical office shell building use. And then this track 1 here totals around 26,000 square feet with the full building that we're presenting tonight. Slide 80, please. All right. So this is just our bird's eye, the overall site and building 3D model. Again, you can see the RVs, dealership here, and the Angel up here. So each one of these buildings, as Amy had mentioned, has sort of an outdoor garden-like amenity that serves the building and starts to kind of create these outdoor spaces that kind of connects the sites. They're all integrated through with sidewalks. We've got a number of knee walls that kind of help us stitch the site together and kind of integrate the building to the site. Next slide. So this is just an enlargement of showing buildings B and C. So primarily, we're thinking medical office for the entire use. We do want to have a little bit of retail support and maybe a small cafe that can help to serve that medical office use. So we're thinking either building B or C with that outdoor courtyard would work well for that. So just showing us some enlargements of that. We can go to slide 87, please. So just wanted to give you kind of a understanding of what it might be like to experience medical vision village as you're approaching on Mayday. So this is our first view to the west. So you're seeing building A here. Next slide. And then this is looking toward the east. So this would be building C. This is Slack Tie Drive here, right across from East Farm Road, and gives you a sense of kind of how these single-story buildings are fitting into the Mayday landscape. Next slide, please. So as you turn on Slack Tie Road, you start to make your approach down, you start to see to the north some of the larger 2-story buildings. So just giving you some sense of how all this language is really sort of tied together. We're trying to use the same primary exterior facade materials for all the buildings to give some consistent language. Obviously, it would vary in the architecture, in the massing of the building, and the articulation of the footprint. And then each building may have a little defining feature and these sort of intricate canopies that vary. But in general, want to give the sense of being one sort of cohesive village. Next slide. Yeah, so this is sorry to throw on the landscape. We think that's how it's really going to look. So we want to show you that. And then next slide, 393. Yeah. So the other feature we have is this sort of central park area, as Amy said. They've got a larger pergola element. It's like 34 feet by 32 feet. And this is kind of that common public space. So we're going to present that to you when we get to building D, but this is just sort of an overview of what it might be like to actually tour the village once it's constructed. So that sort of covers the master plan. We're happy to jump into building A unless the board might have any questions on the master plan. Okay. All right, so if you do a slide, there you go. And so this is building A, which sits right next to the animal hospital. To the east, if we can go to slide 95, same thing, to sort of see where we start in the overall streetscape context of building A. And we're showing you again, you'll see the slide consistently popping up tonight. Sort of our area of work as it relates to bird size. Again, in building A, this site is very unique in that it is defined by a lot of true oak trees. That we had to sort of work around along Mayday, and we have this sort of oak tree garden that happens between building A and B. And we have a 15-foot buffer that happens along that east property. We can go to slide 97, next slide. So a little bit about the program. This particular building, we're thinking is primarily going to be a medical office. We designed it to have potentially 2 tenants. Primary entry that acknowledges Maybank, and then we have 2 separate entries here along the parking lot side. So this one is sort of a trellis color covered entry that looks out towards this oak tree garden. This is the secondary entry here for the other tenant that has sort of a private palm, we call it the palm garden. When you look at the landscape plan, you'll see how we're creating the outdoor spaces there. Got a lot of knee walls that help you define this area with brick and heavy knee walls. So you can see the form of the building sets up where it could be 1 tenant or potentially 2. We're putting all the utilities and sort of services relative to FDC, electric meters, trash enclosures, all that sort of tucked in on this side here. And of course, there's a 15-foot landscape buffer there too. If we can go to slide 99, please. Okay, just again, getting back into the 3D model, so you can see the building massing is very simple. We've got 3 distinct forms. We got a crossing gable, and then we have this sort of flat parapet form with an integrated trellis. And this is Maybank to the lower right. Next slide, please. This is the other view. So we got Maybank to the upper right. We got the parking lot side here. Here's our oak tree garden. Here are our 2 entry points to the trellis and the private garden view walls. All the mechanical units are on the rooftop, and we try to make the parapets tall enough that they can be seen.
So let you know, we got about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see. Perfect. So this is another view of kind of a close up of the building, the way the building acknowledges Maybank. And you can see one of the things that makes this building unique is we have these deeper insect windows. And so we're proposing a tanlin trim for the building massing. So we wanted to show this really simple building form. We think that minimized corner trim helps to kind of accentuate that. Then we have these really nice 8-inch returns at all of the windows to give it some depth. So this is the view fronting Maybank. I think 102, please. Yeah, this gives you a sense of if we're looking east on Maybank, kind of a sense of scale. We did look at the sign ordinance. I think that was one of the previous staff comments, and we found out that we couldn't really put signage on the side. These are confronting the public way of the parking lot, so we could move the signage. We'll try to address that staff comment. Could you please go to 103? This is a close-up of how one would approach the building from the parking lot side. So we got the oak tree garden to the right. We have our tappy stucco walls here, which are set at about a 20-inch bench level for pedestrian seating. And then this is the prime, this is the 2 tenant entries here, and then the palm tree garden to the left. Next slide, please. Just a close-up of these outdoor kind of waiting areas. Then we can jump to materials palette, which is 105. There we go. So the facade that fronts Maybank, we're proposing vertical board and batten, horizontal siding. We do have storefront windows, and one of the things we wanted to talk through with the board was this idea of presenting these secondary buttons, which is a system that Boyd makes. We've got some cut sheets in it. So we've got this primary 2.5-inch impact grade frame, and then we graduate down to 1 7/8 on the secondary buttons, kind of scale down that part of the opening. And then the features, sort of facade features, are the trellis and then the canopies. And you're going to see on each one of these buildings, we have some consistency with these canopies. That underneath it, we might change materials slightly. So this one is actually proposed to be a cedar tonguing roof. Next slide, please. And this is the back of the building where you can see we sort of have this brick massing, kind of complementing brick and tabby walls here, and then again, underneath these canopies, you're seeing that cedar wood. And this trellis here is a double 1x10 with a spacer. It's also cedar that kind of wraps up the size. So happy to answer any questions before you might have.
More questions?
After this is an excellent presentation. Very powerful, particularly the manner that you ask the questions. Evolved. My only question is that with the amount of effort and energy that you all have invested, you feel confident with the costing, the construction, and all of these elements will be, and design vision will be fulfilled?
That's a great question, and to Mark's credit and our developer, we have been working with a local builder, getting some feedback. And so there are some things that you guys probably know about the fire district and sprinkler and all these little things that drive the cost up, but yes, we reviewed that and we feel comfortable moving forward with that things.
Very, very. Well done.
That's a good question on what the style, they're not gonna minimal. It's last side, right? By the time it goes on. I feel like a redwood on the corner.
Yeah, I think on the materials page, you'll see sort of size to, I think that's 1 of 7 here. It's hard, it's tough to see, it actually has a little bit of one leg there. That will slightly cover the end, so you won't see the actual sort of grain on the left side.
One other question, particularly upon the effort of the city administration. Are you applying that approach to all the elevations as far as construction is concerned, or is there a specific thought in the process of just looking at it?
We are looking at that particular element independently, although when there is an opportunity to provide a deeper jam or deeper depth, any of those things we're doing. So you'll see the next presentation for building A, you've sort of intentionally left the wings, and they're not recessed as much, because in the central feature, we have this primary facade element that is really engaged and sort of maybe contrast each other, but that depth doesn't occur everywhere, because just at certain point out areas at this point.
Sorry, the vertical wall is the back to, right? That's 49.
That's correct, yes. Yes, yeah. When I was into your question, I should have said that. I'm glad you brought up the pricing exercise. So that was one of the things we looked at. We was taking this, doing like a double stub wall everywhere to get that look. And so we tried to carefully present this like along Maybank, where it was more meaningful, and some of the other places we don't have that element. So that was also another driver, which be open about that.
Couple of questions relative to the black roof area that appears to be brick. And on it, we have the elevation of the top elevation. Explain the difference in material, what you know, is there a stucco stripe and then brick?
Well, we were thinking that when we go to the building sections, we included as a fairly large exposure there. We're trying to figure out what it makes sense to do that with seams, with fiber cement or something else. And I think we have a warrant there too. And so, you know, we have stucco almost in the knee walls, and we just felt like that maybe the stucco was a little more complementary with some of the more brick, but beyond that, that's sort of it.
It seems a stat comment here that it looks like there's an intention to not raise that parapet height that cover the units.
I believe that staff comment previously was more just the building C. And we have revised that. And so on this building, I think you've got to be like, we've got a diagram, you got to be 257 feet back to be able to catch it. Most of those who try to scale up parapets for you to really screen these units. And we'll see on building C where we completely direct that by removing the previous screening so we can provide them. Speaking of staff comments, I apologize, I should have mentioned that we taken one of the staff comments was the synthetic curve, we taken all that out of the class.
From comments or questions. Hearing none, public comment. Hearing none, city staff recommendations.
Thank you, Andy. The drawing sets are comprehensive and nicely laid out, makes the understanding of the overall project much more clear. The staff supports the design direction of all the buildings, the materials, the landscape design direction is looking good. We like the use of the rain gardens and the amount of planned outdoor spaces throughout the project. The windows in each building appear to be proportionally and deep set, which is good. The scale and proportions of the buildings are nice and will be a good fit to John's Island. We appreciate the plans showing the various knee wall locations being used in this project, which can double as seat walls. Staff supports the site furnishings proposed as well as the street light style. Staff comment number 1, the parapet walls appear in elevations that they will conceal the roof mechanical units, but DRB reserves the right to ask these be taller if after construction completion, the mechanical units are taller than expected and too visible from the ground. To see the top couple inches of the roof mechanical units from a good distance away is acceptable. Staff comment number 2 on sheet L2, there's a plant label east of the building. Says 11A1, but this appears to be a mistake. I think this should be a plant label of R1 for the rhododendrons. Staff comment number 3, the long planting island in the middle of the parking lot that is partially in the planting plan of building A and of building B. Staff recommends one more tree in the center of this long landscape island. Let me see if that's close by that I can show. So this is referring to this island right here. There's a tree down here, and we were just asking for one more in the center. Staff comment number 4, the electric panels are partially screened with a fence that also screens the trash. And staff can support this as the applicants called to paint the electrical panels the color of the facade where they're located, and they are on the east side of the building where they will not be very visible. Staff comment number 5, please verify with TRC that the front bike path along Maybank Highway that narrows as it goes around existing tree does not become too narrow. Staff comment 6, all traffic signage for this project should have a decorative post and not a U-channel post. But for building A and the landscape and so forth as presented, we do recommend preliminary approval.
Staff have any response to the staff comments? And then we'll move into board discussion.
The packages really well, the packages makes the application really easy to understand. And the design is really well done. It's been really great. Done well. The overall big picture is great. But it just significantly prepare for the detail, and I think we just need to maybe edit that, maybe simplify it to really need change in here. Like I think it's really costly in the place, it doesn't that much matter. But I also would say that compared to screen fully the screen to so those, I think define the show requirements anyway, you're gonna come up with challenging other challenges that we just raise in the group. So that just being honest with there, but and let me do what needs to be. I also see some inspections nitpicking. It looks like we're doing roof insulation of the roof, and that neutral recurring, just architect, that recurring solution probably would be really challenging, but it's something to think about and putting together. You're gonna see these stations on the roof, I think there's some recurring. It's gonna affect you. It's sort of, yeah. Ultimately, we'll have this implication. But again, I think the picture of this building is really bad in fact.
How do you feel about the applied moments on this? The applied moments on the windows. Rather than, okay,
And again, I think it just goes back to the thoughtfulness of the overall aspect of the design, changed the size, not everything is the same. Maybe it's a little bit of a delicate feeling.
just wanted to make sure, it's something that we normally don't.
Style, for a little short time, something that was really, it's a nice way to have that. Just one more layer.
My standpoint, I think the landscape is great overall. I think some of these rain gardens that are all turf, all sod, a little. I think could be studied. I think that bringing in some native grasses and that sort of stuff, just because it's going to, let's face it, turf has the sea value of concrete for the most part. So it's maybe slowing down some of that stormwater. The palette overall, I'm fine with, maybe the buffer poly. Find a substitute for that and just make sure where you have. Salt meadows that they're in buffers and away from pedestrian areas. But other than that, I don't have a problem.
And you're thinking about using some heavier grasses around there. That's also the water down there, will filter it more. And just-
Maybe in the bottom, maybe some stone or something, just to keep the path of the water moving, but just. Also, just won't get some just fertilizer and that sort of stuff down in there.
Helps clean the water a little bit. Around the grid.
They're very nice. Very nice design.
One thing I would say, after the applicant, they have done such a wonderful and thoughtful job in the simplification, as Jeff said, in the editing. As you go forward with the final execution of all the documents, be careful and maintain that process because it really will produce a very nice and
Make the motion to preliminary approval with that comments 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do it comments either 1, the sentence 5, the material level we're gonna get. And we can do the process. Number 2, raise the building before having units.
Can you repeat number 2, please?
Raise the clear decks. Fully covered unit. 3. Alternate. Third on the rain gardens. That's it.
Yeah, here we go.
What'd you say?
I would add native grasses to chart areas.
There's another descriptor there. I heard Holly.
Perfect. Huh?
The solid and the those are the budgets.
Okay, so we have a motion for preliminary approval with staff comments 2 through 6. Board comments to simplify the material of the parapets. Raise the parapets to fully cover the mechanical units. Add native grasses in the rain gardens. And provide a substitute for the Burford holly. And to ensure that the salt meadows are in the buffer. We have a second. Stephanie, second. Take the vote, Venus,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yeah.
Lucas,
Yes.
I'm also in favor. We will move to the item number 5. This would be 13 or 3166 Maybank Highway, John's Island, Building B. And just note that Jeff and Venus are
And I think that we can go back to what the rest of the.
one of 4 buildings in phase 1 of the medical office. We talked about. Right, Ian?
All set. I go directly to slide 126.
Building B, you can see it's a simple building on Maybank, that's highlighted here. Again, kind of showing you where this falls, kind of a key diagram of the street view. This is, it ends up being the smallest building of all 6 of those along the bank. So this is really large. Landscape plan. We still have those existing Northern Oaks, just to the east. And then we have the courtyard space. When we go into the city. And, while we're on this, I'll go ahead and talk about courtyard materials. So this is where we kind of really come sailing. We're kind of limited in doing the vertical. We've got a minimal amount of concrete, which is perimeter apron. And then we've got edging and brick, and we've got foundation mixed in the middle. And we really sort of vision was to leave that out. We see there for small buildings, see and do. Please jump to 1.9. So as far as the program, we see this really probably just being one tenant, given it's a smaller than 2750 square feet. We do have multiple entry points to the courtyard and the parking, and obviously acknowledge the paving. And also we've got, I'm sorry, the utilities on this particular building, I think they're the only one that has the impact grade. And so we screen this here with a brick enclosure. We also have the electrical dams on that side of the building. And so this is our 3D site and building model from the parking lot side looking towards Maybank. And we can see again creating this courtyard space here, the plantation mix as described. And then this building here is really a very, very simple form. The primary gateway, secondary wings on each side. And it sort of ties over to building A with integration of knee walls. And this is that lower sort of oak tree area that we're protecting because we have not protect the grades around there. So ends up being a knee wall here to stucco, adding where's the stucco, where the gap. Slide 32. This is the primary facade along Maybank. And then the real feature on this building is just this simple vertical kind of working really well back here. So with detailed drawings, we'll have silver buttons in here. We can take advantage of this sort of double layer of transomes and give them sort of a larger scale of the work in flat space. Slide 33. This is just a close-up view along Maybank. We wanted to sort of show the accent and the depth of the storefront from that entry point. We do have a steel fan canopy here. It's actually your hydrowood underneath the high rise. And this just gives you a view of the east. There you go.
Sorry.
Parking outside as well, and these kind of simple entry points. Page 36, so 136 feet. And then the materials palette, again, this is the simplest building of all. So we've got the horizontal siding in the middle, and we've got the vertical one on the wings. We also have the storefront with the inset secondary buttons on this one. This is sort of detailed here showing how the steel canopies tied with accents would happen at the entry points, standing seam of roof, and then the rest of the submittal packages has some detailed sections and then other attachments if we need to go there.
I know you all sent me the landscape plan to add, and gosh, I don't know that it made
I
it.
think we've already covered it.
Oh.
That was that one where I was talking about before, I think.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I may not have added it to the Dropbox. Sorry. Let me get back to that. So Andy can see this here.
I'll look at it when we get the full.
Okay.
Here's the order of things in the building. The details of the program.
Yeah, I think that kind of really you can see together, so then.
Right.
See.
And for the first presentation, this is where I was recommending adding another tree in here. Are you all finished?
Yeah.
Board questions?
Mechanical or yeah, I guess the chemical side is actually. How is this being in these counties? How is it sometimes
Let me go to the, here's the elevation right here.
So it's roughly 42 inches of. Yes, I hear above. Here's the wood graphics of the rate. Purpose or attachment to them beyond this one. Yeah, I think that all of the canopies throughout the pocket and the porches have a certain level of mass to the timber and how the frame is sort of the service factors. And the truth is we probably downsize all of them, but we just felt like with the simple forms of the building, we wanted to try to express a little bit of structure. So I guess traditionally maybe it might help to hold up or be an extension of that roof beam. But really in this case, it's not structural, it's just meant to complement some of the other timbering features that happen across the village. I think that we have some sections that might show what exactly true, but it is not
You want me to go there?
not structural. No. The other question I want to ask the dealer though, is for all the soffits, are they with flat fighters and then panels? Yes, they're flat fiber cement, and then you're calling for 2-inch by 1.25 batten, and then PVC backing when you paint it, which is like everything. And that would be a 4-inch center to create a rhythm and also cover the seam at 8 inches.
I don't want to believe it, but you show in the landscape where the meters are. I'm trying to understand exactly your comment.
Oh. Let me go to, so they're right here and they're just outside of the mechanical enclosure.
You were saying when you say not be difficult to expand the wood fence material.
Well, yeah, this is all brick, but on this side, the gate is wood, which I'll go to one of the perspectives, you can see it. So I didn't know if they could just add another little piece like this
Of the wood.
of the wood part, or extend the brick to also enclose the electrical panels. I mean, this is all greens. Yes, yeah. Let me see if I can find that. Yes, let me go back to the. Let's see. So, oh, here you go. Okay, so here's the wood part of the gate.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying if you were to extend the wood part, maybe you could, yeah, just come all the way up. And maybe leave it open, like it's L-shaped. Oh, yeah. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, sure. So they would be visible. Oh, sorry. They would be visible from over here. And here. But, and then these are viburnums planted here, which, as you know, will get tall.
What size is it?
What size?
Yeah.
I looked up the type of viburnum and they get very tall.
Right.
They look about 4 to 5 feet spacing.
Amy, what would y'all normally put those in?
They're the viburnums in front of the electric panels. Let's see, I can't read the small print of
See
the,
how tall those people are. It would take a peek at them.
yeah,
Yeah,
True.
I'm just, yeah, and initially, they're not, they. Really,
Set down. Which we can pull them away from the wall a little bit more.
Looking at that elevation is actually the height of this. Maybe.
yeah, they were very, very tall. I mean, could they be lowered with the conduit shrunk down?
Maybe we just need more of a.
I think that in the end, that's probably. What we do, yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, well, I think we're still in questions. We'll start going off on discussion. Any other board questions? Public comment? None? Staff recommendations?
Thank you, Andy. So a lot of my comments from the first building A apply to this as well, but I just said that staff supports the building design and landscape layout. And then my one staff comment was the electric meters on building B are not screened with the fence, but staff could be okay with this given they are on the side of the building facing green space. And they do have viburnum specified, which can get tall to screen the area. But also it would not be difficult to expand the wood fencing, or like I said, the brick to be taller than what's proposed now around the mechanical, and to also screen the electric meters.
David?
But we do recommend preliminary approval, sorry.
Does the applicant have any clarifications they'd like to make? Again, board discussion. I think I agree. I think one bit about trying to lower that panel or enhance that screening. I think structural is gonna be the only way to really go right there.
Can we be in regards to them? Part of the recommendation would be to allow them to allow the owner to work with the team to come up with the screen. There's been 3 plain trees, but they're not specified.
We're not designing it,
Yeah.
so it's their solution and
Study.
Well, present the final
Right.
staff.
staff reach out.
Right.
So what I think, I don't know, how much you can blow it in.
I don't think either, I think so either, just.
I think the quality of the charm of the building, if it's sequentially lasting. So I think it's, he's gonna build that. Practically screen something like that. Is gonna use that. some, some. I think that the amount of connecting on the side, this is our heavily crowded area, of the side of
There are a lot of existing trees here too.
And I would be afraid to change it, but it needs to be more than stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could get, I mean, once again, we're not designing it, you just, magnolia or something like
Right,
that.
like something tall. So I think we just,
They just study it as the.
Yeah.
To provide a screening solution for that. Then overall, no, I think, some of my same comments apply about, salt on that area. I'm going to take my Dino's card, and ask a question. The area that says natural area with hardwood mulch, is that rain garden or is that just a natural area? Okay. So I really don't have any know.
so when you first natural with cardboard mulch, that means it'll be mulch, but so it's not gonna be like a natural leaf litter, it'll be mulch. I mean, it probably will be a natural leaf litter every time, but yeah, it's going to be mulch. And what is that? It's not-
Motion.
Making a motion for preliminary approval with, I guess, board comment that they will get the spring commission for the electrical. committee.
We have a motion for preliminary approval with full comment for the applicant to study a screening solution for the electrical panels on the east side of the building. Wait a second. Aaron seconds. Lucas. And I'm also okay. Roll call gets a lot easier. I said roll call gets a lot easier. Okay, we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is once again 3166 Maybank Highway. Asking for preliminary approval of building C, one of 4 buildings that are in phase 1 of this medical office and retail development.
Seems to be stuck. There we go.
So. Back to the bird's eye thing, and it's located building C. So this is the building that really anchors the whole entire development village. It's like kind of drive. And you can see it proximity, it's right off from these farms. So the building program is almost 4,400 square feet. We're looking at this actually being 2 tenants, medical and then retail meaning something like a light cafe or something like that. It could also support the larger medical village. And we've got the potential for an outdoor porch. We've got covered dining area here, and then on the other side, we've got a courtyard, which is complete over there. There is a small portion of this area. We have a rather large roof overhang, so we have kind of open plaza with a brick knee wall here. To allow some seating to kind of flow out towards the sidewalk. This knee wall is really intended to just be kind of a nice looking knee wall to put landscape against, but also kind of a barrier just in case something ever happened to a fuel coming through fast in the century. So we have multiple entry points along the David and along the parking side. And we probably skip to the next slide. Yeah. So this is the bird's eye view right along Maybank, Slack Top Drive. This shows that sort of outdoor plaza area behind on the brick wall and open seating area and sidewalk. So this is the primary facade of building C. This area is about a story and a quarter tall. We have these dormers which are functional. We can certainly feel the building sections. How we'd like for those to actually provide natural light into this space. And then this building, the massing strategy is really sort of break it into two distinct languages to a certain degree. But we have vertical on one side, vertical board on the other. Next slide. Just a close up of some of the exposed crafter panels, and you're probably seeing this common theme of these warmer salted elements through the entire village. And so we're picking up tiger wood on the other side of these steel metal channels here, and also on the other side of the saw up there. And we can get a 1.4, thank you. So this is the parking lot side. And we've got tenant entries to the left, the brick with a simple shed feature. We also have the tiger wood below. And then to the right, we have a board backing at the larger transom level gear storage. So
I'm sorry.
the doors, and then so all this sort of opens up to that courtyard space here, and we're trying to stay out of that utilities like that, which is why we're sort of for everyone addressing that area. The next couple slides is giving you a sense of some of the detailing at each of the entries. We'll have a steel channel canopy.
All right.
And then the next one is going to be the shed roof lines, the tiger wood, and this is some of the timbering beams that we were talking about before. And both of these elements are sort of consistently showing up across all 6 buildings. All the buildings you've seen so far have had access, whether it be a meeting wall, a local window, or a sort of line that's above the window, which is fiber cement. This close up you showed that. Now, please go to PDF 180. Oh, this is getting nice. So this gives you a nice view of the courtyard, where we have that brick edging, plantation mix, pretty good places for seating. We're still stuck with dealing with. We're going to put the electrical panels on this building, which has visibility from all sides. So I think the landscape plan starts to address that. We have some of the landscape turned off here, so you can actually see the architecture. But we're painting the building to match where it's supposed to be. And then the materials palette is on this sheet here. Very consistent with what you've seen on the other buildings. If there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Board questions.
As you might have commented on the corners, the central corners, is that just matching what same logic as what was on the middle?
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'd like to make sure I understood his comment, the intent of his comment. Is he saying that maybe simplify and go to something that might be more fiber cement? Is that the intent? I'm not sure.
I don't want to speak for him, but my understanding was continue to break.
Oh, just continue to break. Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Do away with the second. And I think we had a bit of a slot frames, everything.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
on the perspective.
Let me go to one of those. Let me go to a perspective.
One of the perspectives, that is that, the white on the return of the NP storefront, is that just a rendering thing? Is that actually, that's not a stucco we comply with the brick, right?
Yeah, that's a great catch. That's an error on our part. That should be a brick window.
Yeah.
Yep, your intent was to paint all of these. Need bases.
That's what we usually ask for is electric meters, even if they're screened with the fence, you can usually see the tops and we still like them to be painted, but
I'm just asking, is that the meter base all for this building right there and that.
Right.
That court right there. Yeah. you need to come back. Public comment? Hearing none. City staff recommendations.
Thank you. Staff supports the building design and the landscape layout again. I did have a comment about the electric meters in building C are very visible facing the outdoor seating. I did have written here that we recommend it get screened with fencing, but to what Lucas addressed earlier, that could be awkward and interfere with the elegance of the design. So, I'll leave that up to the board to comment on.
That didn't have any. Thoughts. None, we'll move into the board discussion.
If you'd like to go to a different slide.
I disagree with what Hayes said with regards to what I put in terms of the screening or a different screening solution.
Mhm. Let me go, there we go.
I feel this is kind of let it go and go for the rest.
And it looks like.
Yeah,
There is a small one in there.
yeah, let me go to the planting plan.
It's like a 3-foot.
Yeah, move this. Was that then?
Push them up to the- Yeah, take it.
They're not. They're not showing it on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. If we're doing that, probably need to find out some other place to balance that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's all. Yeah. Yeah, just so that it's not alien to the plan.
It's easy. Okay.
Sure.
Question. The transit glass in the entrance and spandrel in the window, does that mean, where's the ceiling? Let's get one section. So we have a trust bearing, well, the window over here, or the masonry that is like 10, big about 2 foot. The wiggle room for the cramping glazing. And in some locations, when you have an infill panel, you've got 4 here, with the bottom of the bus. Was that just a cost thing, rather than a little bit of that, or that kind of thing?
Comments or motion?
Make the motion, if you guys have anything, so the one is, I guess with. Board comments in regards to the electrical panel on building C is for them, again, very similar to building B is to allow them the floor screening solution. For that is to. But did you all back with regards to the landscape along the maintenance side? Sometimes without,
Simplified things.
yeah, simplified forms.
Some of the flat now, I got it. Yes, so it's a bit- sorry.
So the motion is.
And a motion for preliminary approval.
We have a motion for preliminary approval. With board comments to study the screening of the electrical meters on.
West.
West end of the building. And to simplify the works on the brick line. A second. Sent by Aaron. Lucas. And I am also. there. Item number 7. Is 3166 Maybank Highway, Building D. Requesting preliminary approval. For Building D. One of 4 buildings that are in phase 1 of this medical office. Retail development, also including is the garden park lot. Again. 5 minutes.
Oops, I think I requested 2:30.
Okay, the building D is the first of the buildings that's 2 stories, so we got. The even have the raw graduate up to 2 stories, everything was I think it was a single story. See, building D is really surrounded by park, it's adjacent to this sort of central park area. And then we have slack high ground, which also has parallel park along it. So you're gonna see the building at 83 points. And it's a little over 40,000 square feet, so I think it might be some larger along the steps. Bird's eye, which gives you a sense of where that's building in proximity to the third stage you can see. This just gives you a sense of the streetscape. If we were thinking about this as being negative, we've got a new slack time entry drive, got a line right through it. Look at it, you see the covered porch building A, you can see building C beyond, or you can see beyond A, then you see building B. And so again, we jump that 2-story scale. 233. So a little bit about the program, again, it's a little over 14,000 square feet. This building is a little bit different and an elevator, primary elevator lobby, which sits on the backside of the building where most of the parking is. We do have several entry points along Slack High Drive. We acknowledge this primary street here, a couple of plazas out front. And then on this building, we go to having some of the brackets actually become columns, instead of canted columns with larger entry porches, because the room to do it here. And then again, on this north side of the building, we create a large wood screen enclosure for rollout trash and for the electrical panels to get inside that enclosure. So it's probably worth talking about the roof plan on this one. It is the greatest forms you have a flat area in the middle. All the mechanical units should be screened fairly well. And really on this building, we wanted to try to truly break up the mass and give it a scale of it relative to what we already have in smaller scale along Maybank. So you're going to see these roof lines are kind of turning in different directions, kind of a juxtaposition. So this would be Slack High Drive right here. There's entry plazas, there's a building sign along that entry drive, and then the parking lot wraps around back here. So those primary building forms. So this is just the ground level view from Slack High. We have turned on all of the oak trees that actually occur in these areas. I think the next slide may actually turn it back on. So you can see it's going to be sort of sort of seed into the site based on how those oak tree canopies work. And wanted to also sort of show the architecture, so we're showing it with and without canopies. So this is the north side of the building. It actually fronts the central park. It's hard to see here, but we sort of softened this oak tree. And we do have a knee wall, kind of retaining wall that happens around that, which is brick. And that's where the trees are from. So this would be that mechanical enclosure here. I'm sorry, trash enclosure, and also the electrical panels. Okay, so this is the rear of the building. From the parking lot side, this is the primary elevator entry lobby in the center. It's a brick element. Yep, so because this building sort of turns itself, pivots at certain locations, we have a lot of different views, so you can sort of catch it. But again, that's that central lobby. Next slide, please. That's good. And so we have these larger shaped canopies, and we're looking at these to sort of read like a temporary frame. We are taking reality that we do them out of more of a blue lamp. So we'll have it turning and checking and cracking. But these would be painted with a chamfer edge and sort of knife edge connection with the bolted seal. And we'll do that kind of kind of softening. But we also have
Sorry.
that's perfect. This is good. This is kind of gives you a straight on the view. We have room for signage and these 2% here. And then this is the pergola element that sits on the north side of building B, this kind of central park here. Again, you're going to see the sort of series of D walls. And the idea of this, there's actually a plan of architecture, but I'm talking too much. So the idea of these three D walls is just have a little bit of defining the area of the plaza, and then on the parking lot side, get a little bit of screening from the actual cars themselves, that were perpendicular to the park. Okay, and then if you skip the materials palette. One thing that makes this building a little bit unique, for what type of board to take it on, is that you're showing all the storefront entries that match the other buildings, the storefront and secondary plans. Now, given that we're going 2 stories, we looked at maybe doing a hollow window that is an aluminum clad with nailing fin. Again, just take that extra step to try to scale down the architecture and give them a sense of a little bit more of an elegant window frame. So we have these sort of primary thin rated storefronts at the entry points and these secondary aluminum clad window fin elements that happen everywhere else. So that is one difference to the other buildings. The rest of the materials out very similar. Then lastly, if we go to
59.
let us see. So there's our, just want to show you the enlargement on the purple plan. This is a larger scale element. So we're roughly 34 feet of swaths. We got 10 back to the timber posts that we go back to blue lamp. And we pick up the brick edges you see on some of the airport door spaces. You can see that this is the new walls here. You can have a little bit of separation.
Did you want this? I skipped by this one.
No worries, we've got plenty of sections in here to kind of detail some of the language you've seen on the 3D model that we reference those sections.
No.
That's really questions.
It's a little bit professional, but those are just not necessarily. I know we have historical.
On this particular building, we were using the second story and first story, they had all the entry points. They were actually operable doors. We were named with the storefront there.
But on the other building, it's all
On the other buildings, it was all storefront, yeah. Well. We just felt like we could get some a little bit more of a elegant solution that was more restriction, window and the styles of nails were just a little smaller than the larger impact, aluminum extruded frame. So we were open to keeping it consistent if the board wishes to see that, but we were just thinking of this sort of graduation of one of these two stories and there, and we could scale down the building side. But it was good, it wasn't. Really double hung or something like the same, or the things, everything was well. It wasn't like building science, considering it flashing. Well, I wish I could tell you what this. The mud profile is very much closely matched what we've got on the voice system and on the storefront that we did try to coordinate that.
Hearing none. Public comment. Hearing none. Please staff recommendations.
Thank you, Andy. And staff supports the building design, landscape layout, and also the pergola design and layout. I think it's a very nice design. Staff comment one, the electric meters on building D are screened with fencing, but please still include a note to paint the equipment the same color as the facade, as the applicant did on the other buildings. We do recommend preliminary approval.
Thoughts for that?
That was done with construction. Yeah, yeah. They can't be below the reserve grade, so.
I'm not sure which one we're referring to. Let me get to.
Go back.
Oh, I see. Here. Oh, I think I went too far.
That one. That's
Gotcha.
actually a wood wall.
Gotcha.
And it's actually.
Yes, the front row, the grade drops down, so that's that low area that we get, so. Wall down.
There's not actually.
Thank you.
For discussion. They have some legal palm around the parking lot. They have needle palm around the parking lot. Probably should look at this. And then any salt come out of just where people are.
Sure. Say it again. Oh, sure. Not sure if I'm going this, yeah. Oh, wait, here we go. Well, we flip to the far end of the building. See, the one we're just looking at. Oh, yeah.
So the other, I see the difference for the brick, but I don't see this on the other side. Yeah. Right.
Sorry, because if you just speak up just a little bit.
The south and north, the south and north side, the brick side.
On the south and north. ends, yeah. I'm still,
That's the west.
So we
I
can-
guess if that's the side we talk about, on the second talk about it, on the west side.
what's the gang windows? That would be the west side.
That's west. With regard to the footprint, and
Okay, so we have preliminary approval, motion for preliminary approval. The board or staff comment number one. I may butcher this, but I'll do my best. Study the brick bay bump outs on the south and north sides.
Mhm.
Study gang windows on the west side of the building. Simplify the cornice on the brick. Area is what it is.
I think I might be able to go. It's the one with the pump outs, studying them and making them more simple.
So the first board comment is study the brick bay bump outs on the south and north sides to make them more similar. Yeah. Simplify or study the gang windows on the west side. And to simplify the cornice on the brick. I think. And to substitute for the middle palm of the party. Second. Karen, second. Stephanie,
yes.
I am also in favor. So y'all, unless y'all really want to stay, you know, it would.
Thank you for your patience for that. All this.
Thank you.
So the last line item on the agenda for this evening is approval of minutes from the October 2nd meeting.
I make all the minutes are good.
Lucas,
Yes.
I am also in favor.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes our meeting.
We start recording.